Alright. So, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past and
Whatever the
Ocarina of
fuck
Time.
we end up on, yeah.
So how the fuck do the two relate? Because I thought that Ocarina of Time took place before Link to the Past, which took place before the original two.
It does. The basic storyline of all the current Zeldas is this. Ocarina of Time takes place first, at which point in time we get a divergence of two parallel worlds.
Well, yeah, because there's also Majora's Mask, which happened only when he was a kid, but not when he was an adult.
Right, but it takes place a year after the initial events of Ocarina of Time.
But before he killed Ganondorf.
Well, what happens is he realizes Ganon's going to come looking for him as a kid, and so he hightails it out of the country. He's actually off in some distant land across a couple of mountains, and, that's how come Majora's Mask has, like, a direct relation, and, like, it's the same Link, it's just, he's elsewhere.
I never really liked Majora's Mask, to be honest. Like, I hated the time frame. He only had like 3 in-game days to do everything.
I thought it was relatively intuitive, ingenuitive, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I can see where, it's problematic, because, to really get everything done in that, you had to play through this 3 days, fairly rapid succession, repeatedly, to get, the few things that would stick from one day to the next.
Right.
But,
I just like the slow, because like my favorite was Link to the Past, where you could go back and, I mean, there was no rush to do anything, because when you beat Ganon, the game ended, but you could unlock everything, collect everything up to that point when you actually went into the temple and fought him.
right, and a lot of people up to that point, really still call it the crowning achievement of the Zelda, so I completely agree with them.
Kind of like Symphony of the Night from Castlevania.
Yeah, or if you look at a lot of the Metroids, a lot of the ones that are considered like their crowning achievements have been actually the ones they've put out in more recent years on the Game Boy Advanced.
Yeah, because they're based on the Super Metroid with the big, like,
Yeah.
again, back to Castlevania, but like the big explorable area.
Yeah, and it's a classic style of game that I think we're losing by games shifting to a full 3D environment.
Mm-hmm.
We're losing our platformers, but there have been some pretty decent platformers.
Metroid Prime was awesome.
Yeah, I liked Prime. The sequel, not quite as much.
Yeah, me neither.
I never played any of the other ones for lack of having the systems and, well, general lack of interest in the Wii anyway. If I wanted to get up and get some exercise, I'd get the fuck up and get some exercise. I'm a lazy, drunken bastard.
Well, its hardware was dated when it came out. Like, I mean, that was basically like higher definition Nintendo 64 stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, better than that, but
not by much. But
no,
yeah,
not by much. Dude, and I haven't even played, like, I have a Wii, and I haven't even played Twilight Princess. Or, shit, is there one after that now?
Yeah, there was another one, and I don't. It's specifically for Wii only, and either that or it's in development. I think maybe it's still in development.
Well,
I know there's another one that's coming out this shortly. But anyway, back to the original context of, Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past and the original two Zeldas. Link's Adventure and, The Legend of Zelda, the classic NES title. The time frame of story of events generally is considered this. The first game being Ocarina of Time, in which, they have the divergence of timelines, which is how come we end up with one world where, it's covered in water and we got stuff like Wind Waker and crap going on that.
Oh, fuck.
While I generally liked some of the gameplay, I thought the graphics really, it's not a Zelda.
Thank you, same here. Everybody loves the cutesy little art style of that, but I fucking can't stand it. Like, that totally turned me off to it.
Which, yeah, unfortunately Twilight Princess used the same graphics engine, while not using that graphic style, it still had some bleed over
Yeah, it's the
from the
cell
past
shading.
effects.
And I
Well,
did like
it's
the.
not so much the cell shading. It's, I've seen some really great games that are completely cell shaded.
Yeah, like 13.
Hmm?
13 for GameCube?
I
It's a
haven't played
first-person
that
shooter.
one. One of the Borderlands being an example is completely cell
Oh,
shaded.
damn, good call. I wasn't even thinking about
Um,
Borderlands. That's a sick game I need to play again.
Almost all of the last several Tales games are all cell shade. Anything from like the GameCube on, which was Tales of Symphonia, on forward has been cell shaded and it's been really good. Which unfortunately,
One of the Tales games is on Wii. Isn't it? Or no, I'm thinking Xbox 360.
Yeah, it's on Xbox, which that's one I haven't played. Which I'll probably end up with a crack box when they come down to about $100, and I'll end up with a used one, and
When there's like an Xbox 720 out.
yeah, probably. But I plan on playing that one as well. Anyway, back to Zelda.
Yeah.
So then we come up to Link to the Past. Link to the Past is considered the crowning achievement of the Zeldas because this is the first Zelda where we actually start to see and feel a real depth of time frame to the history of the region.
Especially with the explanation at the beginning of the game, with the war and the seven wise men, then their daughters as the princesses.
Right, and their descendants, and it's, the seven wise men are, what you encounter within the seven temples during Ocarina of Time. So in the beginning of Link to the Past, we get this kind of brief highlight of what, Ocarina of Time was generally about, and then we move forward. Crossing between both the light and the dark world, where Ganon, ends up banished to, and we start seeing, we really see a highlight of, probably the peak of what I would say the top-down adventure games of, just generally all time.
Yeah, absolutely. It took the formula of the original Legend of Zelda, but with 16-bit graphics, and really developed it further.
Well, not only that, it took a lot of what was added during some of Link's Adventure, too. In that, you could do specific quests, earn something as your reward, And I'm thinking, heavily, your basic sword upgrades from Link to the Past.
Yeah, well, and the heart pieces and all that, too.
Well, the heart pieces were back from the original, adventure game of seek stuff out. You got rewarded for, going and looking underneath the bushes. Instead of where a lot of adventure games, up until that time, even PC, granted, some of these titles that I'm going to throw out here are considered peak classics, but it's a different style of adventure game. And, we're looking at Space Quest, Hero Quest, King's Quest.
Sam and Max.
Never actually did play those.
Oh, Sam and Max Hit the Road is awesome.
I've heard they're really good, but, it's just not something I got into.
Monkey Island.
Yes, The Adventures of Monkey Island.
Day of the Tentacle, did you ever play that? It was it came after Maniac Mansion. It was like the sequel to that.
I never got into Maniac Mansion.
Yeah, me neither. I still haven't done that, but I did play Day of the Tentacle. That sucked, because, I got into a bunch of those adventure games, like Sam & Max, Day of the Tentacle, Space Quest, right before, Windows 95 got big, and so then I had problems running it in DOS, and it's just gotten worse and worse ever since. I need to figure out how DOSBox works.
Fairly easy, and there's actually, for a lot of the old style adventures like that, there's several well-known emulators that are out that they specifically emulate the DOS environment to run those games. Within the last 6 months, played through the first and second Secret of Monkey Island, the classic 8-bit environments
Uh,
on Windows Vista.
yeah, they've re-released those now.
Yeah, and they've got all updated graphics and like actual voice acting to them. And I haven't played this, but you know what? It's just the old classics.
Yeah, well, and they have the option to change it back. Like, you can play the original version.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not only that, but then there's new 3D versions of Sam and Max, and, like, it's episodic now.
Hmm.
And then the new Back to the Future is going to be another adventure game and in episodes.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it takes place, like, after the canon of the 3 movies already. But, dude, Christopher Lloyd is actually doing the voice of Doc.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. And apparently the writer, or one of the co-writers, like, had to approve every step along the way. Like, would this actually happen in the movie? So it's supposed to feel like the next Back to the Future movie.
Reminds me of the Ghostbusters game released here this last
dude, I'm so
year and a
stoked
half.
to play that. Yeah.
This was actually written by
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, and I forget who else. It was another one of the major actors. But they actually got the entire original cast of Ghostbusters together to do the voice acting for it. You know, and you really get dropped into it, and you really do feel like, you know, here's Ghostbusters 3.
Oh, I can't wait to play that.
Dude,
I haven't played the demo, but that's it.
damn it, Bob. Didn't you, like, buy that for the crack box at one point in time?
No, not yet, but it's only $15 for PS3, so I'll be picking that shit up soon.
Yeah, well, you gotta play through that, because you play through it at least once, and you're like, damn, that was a good game. The gameplay on it is just solid. You really do get dropped in and feel like, you know, you are going through a storyline that is quite plausible in that, you know, canon of environment. You get an actual, like, cross explanation of linking the events of the 2 movies together in more of a master plot of what's going on. You know, I don't want to spoil it for, you know, anybody that's watching, you know.
Including myself.
Yeah.
Who hasn't played through it.
Yeah, but, you know, they're tied together. You know, there's various slimes that you encounter. You get to actually ooze your own guys, because they'll get, you know,
Possessed?
Yeah. They get
Sweet.
possessed, and, like, you know, you just fucking ooze your own guys.
That's awesome.
And I think Venkman at one point in time actually makes a crack about getting oozed again. You know, just as a random comment after, like, you slime him.
Nice.
Damn it, I got another thought. Just go on to another game, but my brain is fucking jumping tracks and derailing.
I think that there needs to be a modern version of fucking Smash TV. Like, that is such an invincible, like, timeless formula. Just
Random violence?
yeah, 2-person random violence. Go from room to room, blow the shit out of everything, and it's simple. Like, you could easily convert that to 3D, and you wouldn't lose anything because I mean,
No,
be a
you
stationary
really
camera.
wouldn't. The reality is, you could even set it up as like a halfway decent first-person shooter setup. You'd have to tone down the amount of shit that's coming at you just because you go to a first-person, you're gonna not see your flanks.
That would be pretty rad if it was the same formula. Just you go into one room, there's a shitload of guys, kill wave after them, and then go in the next room.
Isn't
A lot of
that
people
mostly
probably,
what the Resident Evil games are, except for
well, they're a lot, well, sort of. I mean, they are linear, but there's surprises in that.
yeah.
That would be pretty fun. A lot of people wouldn't like it because it's just the same thing, you know, go from one room to the next, but
Yeah.
I would buy it.
Even, you know, keep it as like the top-down view. You look at several games that have been developed in the last few years that are technically rated 3D. They're rendered in 3D. Torchlight being a huge example. The graphics load level on it is incredibly light for system resources, but the quality you get is huge.
Still need to try that.
Yeah. I think like the original Diablo was a lot better.
When does Diablo 3 come out?
It actually got pushed back. Earliest release date, from what I understand, is Christmas of next year.
Like, this is turning into Duke Nukem Forever. Which will come out soon, hopefully.